Hi guys, welcome back to ADJÜS Kitchen. So in today's video I will be showing you how to make stuffed cheesy bites pizza, and this is a very fun recipe. I hope you guys enjoy it. So to start off, these are all my ingredients, and over here I have all-purpose flour, I have yeast, I have some salt, I have some olive oil, some sugar, and some water, and all the measurement will be in the description box below. So first thing we're going to do is take our warm water, and to that we will add in our sugar and our yeast, and we will mix that and let that bubble for like 2 minutes before adding the other ingredients in. Once our yeast, sugar, and water is a little foamy, we are going to add to that the salt and the olive oil, and we'll mix that together. Make sure everything is well mixed before trying to add it into the flour, as I am doing here right now. Now what we're going to do is slowly pour it into the flour, and then we will you could use either a wooden spoon, a regular spoon, or your hands to mix everything together and form a ball. I like to work with my hands better, as you can see right now. So now I'll just be placing this on the surface, and I'll be using my hands to knead the dough and bring it in together. Even though you see the dough is falling apart, don't try to add extra water. Just try to bring everything together as much as you can, and the dough will do the rest, because you don't want to add any additional water to make it too saggy or too wet. You see that eventually the dough is coming together, and this is what we're looking for. Just keep working the dough, and you can never really over knead when you're using your hands. Once you're finished kneading the dough, you need to shape that into a ball, and then take a separate bowl, put some olive oil into that, and then place your dough into that and let it rest for 1 hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours. While our dough is rested, we will move on to make our tomato sauce, and this is all of our mise en place for the tomato sauce. Over here we have some garlic and onion powder, and then we have some oregano powder, and we have some sugar. And the canned tomato that I'm using have some garlic and oregano already in it, and basil. And I also have some tomato sauce, I have some salt and pepper for seasoning, and I have rosemary and thyme to help enhance the flavor. In a small pot, turn on your stove to low heat, and to that we will add in our diced canned tomatoes that have the oregano, garlic, and basil in it. Remember, if you don't use this type of tomato, you have to add in garlic and basil. Next thing we're going to do is add in our tomato sauce, and we're going to mix that together. Basically, we'll be adding in all of our ingredients in steps, just adding everything slowly all at once. And the next thing we're going to do after we mix all of that together is we're going to add in a little bit of water to help the tomato cook slower. As you can see, I keep mixing because I don't want anything to stick to the bottom of the pot. Now all I'm doing is adding in our garlic powder, our onion powder, basically all of our spices. And I'm also adding in the oregano powder. I'll add in the sugar, and then I'll add in the rest of the seasonings such as the salt, pepper, thyme, and rosemary. Keep mixing that while it's on the stove, guys. You don't want anything to stick to the bottom even though it is on low heat. Now you can put your stove onto medium heat and just let that come to a little boil, as you can see here, because we want the large pieces of tomatoes to break down. And here, as you can see, the sauce is coming down, and this is basically done. And now what we're going to do is we're going to strain the sauce to make it more smooth. This is optional, by the way. As you can see here, I have my strainer and I have a bowl under it. And all we're going to do is strain our sauce to make it more smooth. And like I said, this is optional. If you want, you could just pick out the rosemary and thyme and use the sauce as it is. And don't mind my strainer, it's kind of dark on the sides because I accidentally burned it last time I was in the kitchen. So let's just ignore that. So I got some bacon over here, and all I'm going to do is heat up a pan, put a little bit of oil onto that, and I'm going to just cook the bacon for a little bit because I want to make the pizza half bacon and half cheese. By the way, this is turkey bacon because I don't eat pork and I couldn't find any beef pepperoni, so we're going with bacon. You can also add some salt onto that and then put it into the oven. The bacon is all done, and now we're going to move on to our dough. You can see that it doubled in size in the last 2 hours that I left it there. And now all you're going to do is take your pizza pan, and what you see me doing here is I place the dough in the middle, and then I'm slowly massaging the dough towards the end in a circular motion. If you want your dough to be round, this is the way you could do it. Unless you have some other techniques, this is the way I do it. And you're basically massaging the dough out to give it the shape and make it to the same size, make it the same size as the pizza pan. You can see how the crust is already forming and how I'm stretching the middle. If you don't want to stuff your crust, this is fine. You can leave it as it is. But since I will be stuffing the crust, I'm going to be adding some cheese into that. But if you're not going to, you don't need to make it any bigger. You can leave it as it is. Now I have some mozzarella cheese, and what I'm going to do is place it on the edges of the pizza by the crust, and I use 6 pieces in total. And now what I'm going to do is fold a little bit of the dough over the mozzarella sticks to basically cover it and make this into the crust. This will take a few minutes, guys, so just bear with me. I didn't want to skip this step. I wanted to show you guys the proper way to do it. If you have some other techniques that you use, by all means, go ahead and do it. And don't mind my little brother. He's like so into cooking, so every time I'm in the kitchen, he tried to come and watch, which is super cute. As you can see, the mozzarella cheese is all covered and it looks like a regular crust. All I'm doing right now is taking a fork and poking the middle of the dough because you want the air to be able to come out, otherwise the piece of dough is going to puff up. Now it's onto the fun part. Using a small ladle, I will place half of the sauce onto the middle, and I'll use the ladle to just spread it out evenly towards the crust. The amount of sauce you want to put, by the way, is optional. I kind of put all the sauce on my pizza because I loved how the sauce tastes, but if you are a person who like less sauce, by all means go ahead. After all, you're the one in the kitchen. Now my little brother is helping add some cheese onto it. Once again, the amount of cheese you put is totally up to you. I was being a little fat, so I added all the cheese that I had in the bowl because it really ain't no sense for me to save some of that cheese. And now I'm taking some of my bacon pieces and I'm adding it to half of the pizza because this is just an experiment. I never really had bacon on pizza before, and I really wanted some beef pepperoni, but I couldn't find any in the supermarket. Now bear with me. What I'm doing is taking my knife, and you can see where the mozzarella sticks really stop, and I'm just cutting that using my knife, as you can see over here. And this is the fun part. After you cut it, you're going to cut that into half. Each stick will be cut into half, and then you'll take that half and cut it into two. Now you can see how the crust look because I finished cutting all the bites. And now what I am going to do is I will be taking each piece and I will kind of like twist it to the side. And by the way, this is optional. You could leave it that way, or you could do what I'm doing, flip it to the side so that the cheese is facing up. And this is basically the way you'll do it. And after this step, you're done. You're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Now what I have here is some melted butter with garlic powder, and I'm just brushing that on top of the pizza bites to give it some color and some more flavor. And right now my oven is preheated to 400 degrees, and what we're going to do after this is just place it into the oven. Okay people, so after 17 minutes into the oven, this is how our stuffed pizza bites look, and it honestly looks so amazing and delicious. I even surprised myself. And I know that this pizza is going to taste amazing because the sauce already tastes good. And I know the dough had all the right measurements. And who could really go wrong with extra cheese? You can see how all that cheese really melted into the dough. You can see how the bacon kind of crisped up even more. And this is really fun and amazing to look at. I even surprised myself. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and try this recipe at home. Share with your friends and family, and I'll see you guys next time on ADJÜS Kitchen.